Hello and welcome to the Girl Log Off podcast. I am your host Katie, and in this series I will be investigating how social media trends affect women's mental health. I will go into detail into what they are and discuss both the positive and negative effects of the trends, while speaking to experts, influencers and general social media users on what they think of these trends. In this series there are 4 episodes that will discuss these 4 different trends: main character energy, romanticising your life, the morning shed and body image. Now, let's get into a little bit about each of the episodes so you guys have a little insight into what these episodes actually are. The first episode is about the main character energy trend, which funnily enough actually stemmed from the romanticising life trend, but has since become its own trend in its own way. This is a trend where people will treat their life as if it is their own story, and you can probably guess that there are some pros and cons of this, which I will get into in the actual episode. In this episode, I will talk to podcast host of Girl Math and influencer Corey Blonde, who shares her thoughts on this trend. She thought that this trend has become more of a social norm rather than a trend. Do you agree? The next episode discusses the romanticise your life trend, which is a little similar to the main character energy trend, which again, that trend stems from this one, so it makes sense. However, it is different in the way that people produce content for it. And in that content, they will be posting, it will be your typical everyday activities, such as making your morning coffee, and they will make their videos incredibly aesthetic, which may not be realistic for everybody making their morning coffee. This can lead to unrealistic expectations for the viewers, but we will get into that in the episode. The third episode discusses the morning shed, which is a trend where people will apply layers and layers of skincare products, the majority of the time paired with heatless curls. However, some do go to the extreme of applying mouth tape, chin straps, all to achieve a glowy skin look when they wake up. In this episode, I will be speaking to skincare expert Carly Musler, who originally started making beauty videos back in 2011 and has since then achieved a degree in science. I will also be hearing from beauty influencer Lexa Smith, who takes part in the morning shed trend frequently. The final episode talks about body image. This is something that is quite close to me, as I am very much aware of how much social media can affect your body image in a very negative way. But since then, I have learned that social media can also have a very positive impact in many ways, but it does depend on the content that you consume. In the episode, you will hear from a social studies lecturer at the University of Sunderland, Lawrence Deckles-Young, who has studied how social media impacts body image. You will also be hearing from a psychology lecturer at Northumbria University, Gian Beauvais, whose studies have focused on the change of beauty standards over time. That's all for this episode. Tune in to the next episode to hear about these trends in more detail.